Okay. Oh yeah, I always,
Oh yeah,
I always trips me out so hard because I can't actually like I can like everything is like delayed. Oh, trips me out every time I stream. Okay, so I'm streaming today because my good friend Levr, Nick, um Beat, uh he asked me if I could potentially mix a song on stream for him to show. Oh yeah, I'm up here now. To show how I personally mix vocals and how I get them to sound the way I do. Because he was complaining that a lot of people nowadays, like when you're looking through YouTube tutorials, you can come across so much varying information that can sometimes conflict with itself. So one guy might tell you to do one thing, and then another guy might tell you to do another thing, and neither really achieve the product that you want. And that can be really, really annoying. So I'm just going to show you how I do it, because the issue with all of this is that everybody's right. And everybody manages to get the product that they want through using the tools at their disposal with their particular ears. And what sounds good to them might not necessarily sound good to you. But here is what I do. This is what I've kind of developed from doing this like professionally for like a year now. I didn't go to school for this. I'm probably going to get roasted alive in the comments. I hope everybody can hear me. I don't know if anyone's in this. Oh, I don't want to stream anything weird. No, okay. I don't know if people can hear me. I hope people can hear me. Wait. No, okay. I don't know if people can hear me. Oh no, people can hear me. Okay, we're good. So, let's get to it. So what we're gonna do is I am going to the first thing I'm going to do, okay, when you're mixing a song, is you want to find the key and the tempo of it. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. I didn't really go into the scripted. I don't really like to write scripts for these things, and I have seriously bad ADHD. So if I friggin' jump all over the place, don't eat me alive. But as I was saying, this is what I have learned over the year that I've been doing this, and I am probably doing a lot of things wrong. I'm probably doing a lot of things super questionably or making little mistakes here and there, but this is just what I have personally found to be the most efficient and effective way of mixing rap vocals. So, first thing I want to talk about, that everybody's probably seen this thing where someone goes and they take, no, let's do that. Let's do the big EQ. So what people do is they'll take an EQ and they'll be like, okay, here's how you mix vocals. And they'll make like 8,000 little dips. They'll signal out like all the little freaky frequencies and stuff like that and be like, oh, like, oh, like, hey, like, we don't do that here. I don't do this like 8,000 bands noise. Like this is way too much effort, and every time I've done it, it's given me a bad product, so we don't do it. And also, the thing about music and how you want it to sound real is that you do want to leave a lot of these frequencies in there, but let's actually pull up some frequencies and I will show you how I do this. So I ain't gonna lie, I have never done this before on FL Studio. I personally use a program called Reaper, but a lot of y'all have probably never heard of it. Yeah. So, okay. Who else is in here? No one's in here. Okay, so we're good. Okay, so what we're gonna do first and foremost is I am going to pull up his vocals. Let's go here, and I'm going to drag and drop this into FL. And we don't exactly know what tempo it's in. So that is kind of like the big thing, is we want to figure out like what tempo and what key this song is in. MP3 on beat, Nomai mix beat. And I actually don't know what half these are, so. Okay, so that was just a beat. Okay. So, what I like to do before I start any project is I actually open an instance of Serato sample because that's what I personally use to analyze. I use this to analyze the beats of songs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the beat into Serato and I'm going to see this. So I see that it's actually in 139 BPM. So I'm going to pull this down. I know it says 139.2, but we're going to get to that. And then it is in the key of B major. So let me just delete that really quick. And I should put a note somewhere. Let's just rename it. And D major. You've already made a mistake. And okay. So FL does this weird thing where if you look at the very beginning of a part of a rendered audio file, for some weird reason, it does this thing where it like leaves this like gap of space. And that kind of makes it a little bit weird. Let's actually put it up to 130. That's what it's telling us. Sometimes I don't know how serious that is. So I want to get rid of at least one of these beats. Throw this up. Okay. So first thing, and this is something I've just started doing recently. I actually go through and normalize every single track. So normalize, and I don't really necessarily know what these are yet, but by normalizing it, kind of gives you more audio file to work with. I don't really know how to explain this like kind of properly, but basically like by doing this, it's going to be consistent output in terms of volume for the most part on like a lot of tracks. Like I think maybe ideally, maybe you do this and then you kind of, I don't know if you make this unique in particular and then like raise that up, but we're not going to get that particular. So I'm just going to go through, normalize every single one of these. I think I've accidentally doubled this. No, I think I'm good. Yeah, and this is like before, like you don't even need to hear the song to do this. Like you just go through and normalize everything. Okay, so let's play this back. Probably going to be pretty loud, so let's turn it down.
Yeah, ey, girl, you're colder than you used to be.
Okay. So now I want to organize all of it.
Fire, ja. Und sie ist kälter als gewohnt zu mir. Und ich war's damals nie zu dir. Ey, girl, you're colder than you used to be. I called you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, eh. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe.
So now I'm gonna go through and actually like rename and kind of
3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder
organize just when I'm working on it a little bit more. I'll probably organize these by color as well.
Mein Herz zerbricht, deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart, I feel right in the dark. It seems like I'm stuck with you. And now I can't get enough of you. Sometimes I just had enough of you. Hey, hey, I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm whining again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than you used to be. White around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe.
And then plays out here. Okay. Validate that. So to do that, if you have FL Studio 20.9, you can just hit, you highlight like a group like here. So these are like two different audio files, but they're on the same track. If you hit Control and G, they'll actually just like consolidate them into one. Oh, I do not want that. I didn't want that. Oh. So we go like that, and then we go like that. Awesome. And so this is like outro 1 of 2, and then it's like outro. I have a feeling like a lot of these vocals can have a lot of very similar processing put on them, but we will kind of get to that. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to find chorus, so which is this guy, and I'm going to process the vocal of the hook of the chorus. So I'm also going to attach all of this stuff to mixer channels, so that's probably going to take a moment, but we're going to get it done. And I've never mixed on FL, so this is probably going to look really janky, but again, I know a lot of you guys have this, so I might as well use this to show you guys like what it's like to mix on something that you're kind of familiar with, as opposed to Reaper, which looks like friggin' something out of the 1960s. And yeah, let's add that. And
yeah, hey, girl, you're colder than you used to be. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm whining again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than you used to be. White around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm whining again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than you used to be. White around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe.
transition hook. Okay, that's interesting. It's probably gonna go up here. We'll get there. Okay, let's get to the fun part. Let's actually get processing. So let's loop this main vocal. And so, where is it? She's right there. Okay. So I'm going to take every single vocal track and I'm going to actually route them all to a single track called vocals. And I can move that up here, and it's just going to make my life easy for at the end of all of it, after I've kind of done processing everything, maybe individually or however, I can then adjust after the fact, like how loud the beat is compared to the vocals. And that's just like, it just makes life kind of easy after the fact. And I've made the mistake a lot of the times where like I don't do that, and then it ends up where you kind of have to like adjust all of them individually if they like didn't sync up or so.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again.
So we're gonna hit it with auto-tune. There's like 2 or 3 different versions of auto-tune. I know for sure there's like waves tuned real time, which I actually use a lot of the time. There's like just your fucking like 5 versions of autotune or something stupid. Like, they all sound different. It's so weird. So I use this guy, which is something that you can find online. And I also like Waves Tune Real Time personally. So, but for a lot of the times, for like, I find that Waves Tune Real Time is more useful for like when you don't want it to sound like autotune. Like, you kind of want it, you just want to tune it. You don't actually want to like have the auto-tune effect, if that makes sense. Whereas like auto-tune itself is like good for like, I don't know, this style of music and like just, I don't know, whatever you feel.
I caught you before falling.
God, I'm gonna sound like an idiot, eh? I'm so tired. So tired. Okay.
In a dark place, I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in the...
Cool. So that's literally all auto-tune is. You set it and then you adjust the retune speed basically based upon how auto-tuney you kind of want it to sound. Like the effect. Like the chirpiness. You know how like you can hear it like physically correct itself, like if it's like really, really off time. So, okay. So, yeah. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit it with EQ. And so this is meant to clean up any like any harsh frequencies, like any frequencies that are kind of like a little bit too much. Like this is what this EQ is used for. Like I think you've kind of read sometimes like on the internet, like I'll see the term surgical EQ come up. That's essentially what this is. This is where the whole concept of like where you're adding a whole bunch of
I caught you before falling in...
little individual bands and you're like, oh, that doesn't sound good. Oh, okay, so let's cut that out. Oh, let's get another band. Like, oh wow, that doesn't sound good either. Let's kill that. Like,
I caught you before...
Oh, like, that's not ideal. Like, okay, like the problem is that when you cut that many frequencies and you do it like that, you end up basically, it sounds like completely unnatural. It doesn't sound like warm or nice at all, in my opinion. If you watch, I think the most popular video right now is by that guy Jonas Aiden. I think that's how you pronounce it, where he does that. But then you'll notice that he puts like 8,000 layers of like distortions and like weird plugins on top of it, and that's because he had a difficult time. You don't get a lot of character by taking out all of the character of a vocal only to add back in more character. That is my experience. I know other people do that. I think Alex May does that, but I personally don't do that yet and have personally never had success with that method. So I do this much, much easier. It's still pretty simplistic, and I do a lot of it honestly off of visual, kind of knowing where to go and stuff like that. But a lot of this is ear training and doing it and trying and doing weird different experiments. I used to have a compressor at the very, very front of my whole chain, like just dumb stuff, like experiment. That's all I can kind of say. So what we're first going to do is we're going to roll off the low end, excuse me.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in the dark. My mind straight, and now I'm writing again. I'll just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than you used. That's all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I was just off for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the...
This is me not knowing how to mix on FL.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I was just off for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe.
And part of me debated wanting to do this in like with all stock plugins, but then Nick Levr told me that he had like all of the same stuff that I do. So I'm planning on doing this just exclusively with stuff like this is how I approach mixing. This is what I do. Like I'm going to be using like all the plugins that like I personally use when I touch on people's vocals. But if you guys do want me to do one that's like entirely stock plugins, I can definitely like think about or look into doing that. I personally don't like mixing. Like I know this is going to kind of, maybe this sounds like negative or something, but like I personally don't like mixing because it's such a client and like it's such like a client and like owner based relationship. It's just like, oh, like you're providing a service and like guys want it like a certain way, and then they like maybe take advantage of your time and stuff like that. Like that can be the issue with mixing if you wanted to get into it super seriously. But if you're like actually just like trying to mix your own vocals, which is kind of the intention of this guy, just let me know if doing this stuff with like stock plugins would like be ideal for you guys. Anyway,
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I was just off for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get...
Okay, we're gonna go with that. Okay, next we're gonna hit it with a multi-band compressor, and I don't typically use any of those, like my beat preset stuff. So okay, so I use FabFilter Pro multiband, and so what I do with this is to really actually tame every frequency to kind of be even with itself. And so the difference between what I'm doing and someone like Jonas Adden is doing is they're muting individual frequencies while I'm doing everything in very broad strokes. And so the way that I kind of, why I'm personally a fan of my method at the moment is those broad strokes are what make up the character of the sound. So there's no point in trying to craft a sound specifically how everybody else sounds. Anyway,
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight.
I'll typically hit around here, like in this kind of 7K, 12K range, as almost like a de-esser in a way. It's kind of like the initial de-esser before I actually hit it with a real de-esser.
I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I was just off for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I was just off for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you... you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight.
Save this. Okay.
I called you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe.
Okay, cool. So now that I've got that multiband, I now hit it with regular compression. And here's where I might be wrong, because I'm told that before you even do any of this, you should actually use the de-esser. I've tried it before. It's been interesting. I'm still just going to do my method for this video, because again, this is how I mix, not how you necessarily should mix.
I called you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end. Girl, you are colder than you used to. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I called you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just near me, girl, I can breathe. I called you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so after I hit it with compression, I hit it with a de-esser. And so I can't necessarily explain to you guys how to, or teach you guys, and don't really necessarily have the time in this particular tutorial for me to teach you guys how to hear compression. Again, if that's something you want to hear about, let me let you know. It's definitely something that takes a disturbing amount of time, because it is such a subtle effect. Especially when you first start out and you're making subtle changes and things like that, that like it can be very complicated to hear, especially at first. Like too much compression can make something sound like really, really weird. Too little compression can make something sound not full and in your face enough. Like, so it's definitely something that I highly recommend, like starting as early as possible to like really get the hang on like compression and like when you want to use it, why you want to use it, when you should use it, and how much of it you should use. So cool. Now kind of forgetting, but if I remember correctly, after this I hit it with another EQ, and this one's a super broad stroke EQ if I can find it. There you are. Okay, and so what I'm doing with this is making very broad pushes into certain frequency ranges in order to really get the vocal to kind of sit and sound like how I want it to on top of this here beat. So
I called you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I called you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind.
Cool, another one down. Now I use, I've been worried that I'm gonna run out of slots on this. So I'm pretty happy about that I think I'm going to make it. So, okay, here we go. Next thing that I use is I actually put distortion on the vocal. And so I don't use much. Some dudes like really make it, but like I use this guy here, FabFilter Saturn, and I have a little vocal preset in here, but it's really like really kind of basic. So
I caught you before falling in a dark place.
Okay, and why I'm doing this is because like I don't really want to necessarily really crank the low end. So if I go here, it's like kind of lower in the mix. It's pretty like just set how it is. It's because I know that I can go in and edit it, but I don't really want to make this too distorted. I don't really want these frequencies to begin with, so like
I caught you before falling in a dark place.
I might just hit it with a little bit here and then turn the mix way down, and then up high I'll kind of hit it a little bit harder.
I'll just hope for the end.
Turn the mix up, but then
girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe.
So that's a little bit of like punch or something. Next thing I'm going to use is Fresh Air. And so this is a free plugin that I probably find on here. That's good. I always use this plugin called Fresh Air. And so what it does is it kind of adds warmth and high end to the vocal. So let me see if I can't find this bad boy in here. Oh. Okay, let's just do this with an EQ. A bit easier. Hope I don't crash. Oh. 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 God damn it. Let's see. Can I pull it up? Will it show me? No, it won't even show me. Okay, that's okay. Let's do it with an EQ.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing it.
Cool, and then the final thing we're gonna use is I personally like to limit my vocals. So I hit them pretty hard. I thought I had a preset, I don't. Okay.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see I'll just hope for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe.
Okay, so what I just did there was I added an EQ to the beat and added a little dip at 1200 hertz. And the reason that I do that, and this is something that I've just found, is that because this vocal sits in and around that 1200 range, it's smart to get rid of that frequency, like a lot of those frequencies in the beat, because it kind of leaves room for the vocal. Like you're kind of like, a lot of the time, like what this is you're trying to fit in the hook vocals with the beat vocals. So, God, I'm so tired. You're trying to fit in the vocals into the beat. You're trying to make it sound like the vocals are in the beat, not necessarily just on top of the beat. There's a lot of music that just like, I don't know, just sounds kind of bad. And like a lot of the time it's because you can kind of distinctly hear that the beat and the vocals are like two completely separate entities. Like you can physically hear the MP3 version of this beat underneath someone's vocals, and that's always kind of bugged me. So I personally like to do this little trick. It just kind of leaves room.
I caught you before falling in a dark place.
And I'm also trying to get these vocals to basically be as loud as the snare. I want them to be as loud as the snare or the kick kind of thing. And like I level them to get them to that volume, and then I turn them up just a little bit. And then that's how, I don't know, that's how everything just kind of sits proper to my ears. So now I'm going to do two things. I'm going to create a bus. And so I'm going to create two buses. I'm going to create a delay bus, and then I'm going to create a reverb bus. And so there's a reason that we bus these things rather than just add them to like, I don't know, just like adding them to this chain. Maybe I throw in patcher or something like that. But by doing, like by bussing the effects, we actually leave the main hook like completely clean, clear, the main vocal like completely clean and clear and like going right through the middle kind of thing. Like, and then we can have all of our effects like in the background and the sides and such like that, so that the main vocal is still coming through like super crisp. And it can be cool to have it where you know, the vocals sound like they're like really like with the reverb, but it like doing this method seriously does make a difference than just having a reverb on here and then maybe you're like turning the mix knob up or down to like automate that. Like it does sound different because of the way that it's being processed. Like, so this hook vocal goes through all of this processing, and then now it hits, let's just say, this reverb bus. And then that reverb bus is the one sending audio and information to the master. But the hook vocal is still sending information directly to the vocal bus, which is then going to this master track. So it does make a significant difference. Like it actually, like when you play around with it, like you'll know like instantly, like maybe you hear a difference from what I'm about to do here, but let's kind of get into it. So my favorite delay of all time is Echo Boy, and I just have this preset, which is main vocals but with a telephone. So I add them full wet, and this is important. You want to make the vocal completely wet on both the reverb and the delay, because you just want the effect to be coming out of these buses, not necessarily any of the main vocal, which has its own mixer track to begin with kind of thing. So I also like drag them a little bit. So let's take this. We're going to side chain it to this track. No, not side chain it. What is it? I think it's just, no, it's just route to this track. Don't side chain it. You want to click here, you want to route to this track. Not route to this track only because you also want the hook to be bussed to the main. Please tell me that made sense.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I was just off for the end, eh. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe.
No, I don't really feel like going and like doing an A-B. Oh god, the exact thing I said not to do. Okay, yeah, you want to route to that track, you want to route to that track. Okay, so now we're gonna add a reverb here. So I don't know, what are we feeling? Something big. Let's do like a. So again, hit it full mix because we just want that sound coming out.
I called you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, eh. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. I called you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, eh. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe.
Fire. So there we go. That is the main vocal of this track. Here's where shit kind of gets easy. So now what you're doing is you're basically, because if it's the same human being and apparently like, unless the vocal is like drastically performed differently. So for example, maybe one take your artist or you do is like some high pitched thing. So like, la da 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 da, and then you do a double of it and you're all low, like, oh, la la la. And so both of those individual vocals are going to have different frequencies. But if the vocal is the same in two different instances or is delivered the same in two different instances, there are tricks that you can do to actually make your life kind of easy, because you can literally pretty well just pull this chain and then drop it onto the other vocal that also is performed very similarly. So this is why, like, when I went and at the very beginning, like, cut out the verse vocals and then brought in the bridge vocals, like, this is why. Like, it's because, like, I know, like, I have a feeling from after hearing the track through one time that these are pretty much going to be processed very similarly, if not basically the exact same. So, but I could be wrong. We will get to that. So let us take this, and we're actually just going to file, save mixer track state as, hit a double hook, and we're going to hope we don't crash. Okay, perfect. And now I'm going to hit that as double hook. And then I'm going to do slight changes to it to actually make this vocal sound a little bit different. And it's a lot easier than you might think. So I'm going to leave the majority of it, but I might process this end EQ differently. So...
than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place.
And if it looks like I'm making big broad strokes without truly having an idea of the GAC sound I'm going for, it's because that's why. I really am just kind of trying to get that vocal to sound. I experimented with it being a little bit brighter, and I experimented with it being a little bit darker. I find a lot of the time with men, it's good to have their double be a little bit darker. Yes. And so the other little trick that I will do is I will take an instance of Little Altar Boy, and I'll actually just like turn the formant down, like not even like greater than like 2, like.
Than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe.
Fire. Now what would have been really useful is if I could have gotten a doubler. So this might be a bit hectic. Okay. Just going to do a quick thing. Just create a little patcher. Going nuts. What do I do? Okay, so we're gonna add a plugin. We're gonna add we're gonna go in here, and then I added a preset called 2. So change that. God damn it. this? Oh my god. Sorry, I don't know my way around my own jaw, apparently. Oh my god. There we go. God damn. Okay, so I like this plugin too. It's called Vocal Doubler. It's by Isotope. And this is also a free plugin. And what it does is mimics the sound of two vocals at once. So.
Older than you used to be. Wider on the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing it.
Okay. Here's the other part about mixing. What you want to do is you actually have to go through each individual track and you need to make sure that the doubles are lined up with themselves. So this is probably going to get deleted. I don't know how to marker on it because I'm a noob.
I caught you before falling in a dark place.
So there, it's like dark place right here. This is actually like off time with itself. You want to go in and then move everything around and realign everything so that it sounds like in time with each other. So.
Caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight.
And so I felt like this guy in general just kind of.
Too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again. She's crying again. I'll just offer it. Writing again. She's crying again. I'll just offer the end. Writing again. For the crying again. I'll just offer the end. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Wider on the corner is all I can see. Is all I can. Wider on the corner is all I can see. 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 Is all I can see.
This is why FL is not a good DAW to mix in. It doesn't let you automate in the same way that a lot of mixing DAWs do.
Wider on the corner is all I can see.
Like you kind of have to basically like in a lot of instances you almost have to like take what you're given with FL. Like because you can't necessarily like change, like you can, but it's like so much effort. Like
wider on the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe.
Okay, there we go. So those are now aligned, like in place, in time. So I'm gonna take them and I'm going to drag them over into the other hook so that they're completely uniform. So that it's not like one hook is like different than the other and you have like different processing and editing from one hook to the next. So sometimes if you're working on like a 3-hook track, it's good to like just do the first hook. And then when you're finally done and happy with the chorus, you can then drag it over into the other hooks.
Wider on the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again. She's crying again. I'll just offer the end. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Wider on the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. Caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm waiting again. She's crying again. I'll just offer the end. Girl, you are colder than you used to be.
Okay, holy shit. Wow. Nomai was okay, wow. Sorry guys. That perceived loudness though. Yeah, we'll get there. Okay. So I'm probably late as hell to all of this, but if you guys ever return to this VOD, what is the benefit of mixing vocals on top of the WAV of the beat as opposed to the actual beat? Okay, so you mean like MP3 of the beat, just to get super technical and super grammatically correct and all this shit. But the purpose of that is because a WAV is legitimately like if you look up like the how audio data and files work, like WAV is a less compressed format digitally than an MP3. And so you kind of get into a very big philosophical topic about our good we'll get to that shit, my ADHD. Okay. The WAV basically sounds better. Like for a very baseline way of putting it, the WAV sounds better. Yeah. Though the thing is like if you hear it, like if you personally can hear the difference, is what can make like that's what's important. I personally swear by using track stems. That by far you get the absolute greatest product because you can then go into each individual track, whether it's a guitar, whether it's an 808 or a snare or anything. You can go into each individual track and actually edit those individual tracks to sound like the thing you're trying to get it to sound like. You're trying to get it. I think you mean just like recording straight on top of the FLP that you made the beat with. Okay, that's also another good point or another good question. So it's kind of the same idea in the sense that like you can take all of the individual tracks and then adjust them to your vocals because if your vocals are the primary instrument, you want all of those you want all of the underlying instruments in the beat to leave that frequency range in an like on. Yeah, your mixing is EQing. Sorry for just these brain dead answers. But through EQing all of the different frequencies of all of the instruments that might clash with the vocals, you're leaving more room for the vocals to shine through. And so that's kind of the main point and why you want to technically use instruments. But if it makes sense, I would just do it on a sense. It honestly, and this is like, okay, like you're getting into like, you can get into like complete semantics with that kind of thing because it's like, let's say you program everything like I know your music, Jack, like you make like plug music, or that's like my interpretation of it. So like all of those little synths that you use and stuff like that, like when you render it, like the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, like all of those synths are going to interact differently when you're rendering them, like whether they get hit by a whole bunch of effects or not. Like maybe one time the reverb hits it a little harder, maybe one time gross beat kicked in like a second earlier or something like that. Like each time it's going to be ever so slightly different. So it's like by rendering out and using those track stems every single time it plays, it's going to be consistent. So it's like whether you want to get into that like the really really nitty gritty specifics about whether you want the render to kind of be a little bit different every time, but like you're probably listening to me going like, yo, it makes such a small difference, and that's because it would make such a literally small difference that it's like it doesn't make a difference. I know guys that have gone to school for this, have learned tons of shit from like big name engineers and stuff, and they swear by, they're like, no, I don't use track stems, I just use the MP3 of the beat, like I don't even give a shit, like because people don't necessarily at the end of the day care, right? Like if you go and listen to some of the biggest songs in the world, like a lot of them, like the beats just like clipping or like something sounds like complete fucking garbage, and like yeah, it really gets into the whole thing of just like if the song is good, it's gonna go. If the song's bad, like yeah, like listen to so much music, man. It has the worst fucking, like literally the worst mixes. So come and go. I don't know what that means. Yo, sorry that I can't like see the chat or something. I wish there was like, is there like a way to? Oh, is this thing? Oh my god, boys, I'm so dumb. The pop out chat is a real thing. That's crazy. I'm so new to this. Holy Lord. I put it on and then wait, how do I get it to like stay on top? I have no top chat, live chat, all messages. Yeah, pop up chat. How do you do this though? Man, I'm so bad at this. Holy shit. Maybe if I like, do I have to like make FL like a little bit smaller? I can. It's fine. Pull that guy over. Yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay, I think this is y'all don't need to see the analytics. Not that I care, but whatever.
Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. 3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich.
Okay, so it's again probably going to be very, very similar. So we're going to pull over again the vocal chain, and then we're going to check to see if that vocal chain like works with that vocal and like make small adjustments here or there, because there is going to be different delivery because these are verses and they're delivered a little bit with less like oomph and energy and shit.
3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. Now we are falling apart, I fell right in. 3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart.
Actually, I'm gonna say it's the other way around. And then let's take this. Drop it on.
Drei Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart, I fell right in the dark. It seems like I'm stuck with you. And now I can't get enough of you. Sometimes I just had enough of you.
I can't see the goddamn. Okay, good. Yeah.
3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart, I fell right in the dark. It seems like I'm stuck with you. And now I can't get enough of you. Sometimes I just had enough of you. Drei Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. 3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart, I fell right in the dark. It seems like I'm stuck with you. And now I can't get enough of you. Sometimes I just had enough of you. 3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart, I fell right in the dark. It seems like I'm stuck with you. And now I can't get enough of you. Sometimes I just had enough of you. 3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart, I fell right in the dark. It seems like I'm stuck with you. And now I can't get enough of you. Sometimes I just had enough of you. 3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart.
God damn.
3 Uhr nachts.
Oh.
3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. Drei Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich.
Okay, so also when you're vocal editing like this, like in my experience, like this is one of those times where you can really do a lot just by visually looking at it.
Deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart.
Like I didn't even need to hear that. I just knew that I had it on time.
Deine Augen,
one of those things.
And we are falling apart.
I can't tell if there was a crack there, so I'm just gonna put this on anyway.
And we are falling apart. I feel right in the dark. It seems like I'm stuck with you. And now I can't get enough of you. Sometimes I just had enough of you. Ey, ey. 3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke.
Okay, the other annoying thing about vocal editing is you gotta personally go through and like delete every single breath.
Willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine.
And I screwed that up. Generic bleeding this guy as well.
Willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart. I feel right. Apart. I feel right in the dark. It's apart. I feel right in the dark. It seems like.
Is it weird mixing vocals not in English? You know what? This is the first time I've ever done it. I'm not gonna lie. Is it weird? No, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the people that have gotten in touch with me have been like a lot of them have been like not English native speakers. So it's gone to the point where I'm actually now like I'm kind of used to hearing non-native English speakers, but it is weird. It isn't like not weird.
Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart. I feel right in the dark. It seems like I'm stuck with you. And now I can't get enough of you. Sometimes I just had enough of you. Ey, ey. 3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke.
Okay, I'm gonna check on if this also works in the second verse.
Ich hab das Lachen längst verlernt, es ist nur Cover wie dein Main.
I had a feeling I had to do this. Okay, so these two tracks right here, if we look at this waveform and then we look at these waveforms, I am going to go out on a limb and tell you that I feel like this waveform, these waveforms, and these waveforms look fairly similar in terms of size, but then there's this little cutie right here that's just doing this thing where it's just not as loud. And so the issue with that and why you like to normalize this shit is because when it's going through the same processing, like the compressors and like all of is all recording anyway, when it's going through all the compressors and everything like that, like it's gonna hit them at the same volume and the same like rate. So you like it does make it easier on yourself. So how you do this is if you left click on here and you go make unique as sample, and then you go up. I have a folder called make unique as sample. It just makes my life a little bit easier. I can hit that in 2 seconds. Sample. And then if I go in and I double click, now instead of having that whole audio track, it's just this guy, and I can actually just normalize that up. And it is a little bit loud, so instead, I think just for me, I'm just gonna hit boost. I'm gonna boost it a little bit just so that it's kind of the same volume as these guys. This is how dumb I sound. Like, holy lord. Like, oh yeah, just do it visually. Do it until you think it looks okay. You said these guys? Or plug shit. This is sick too. This is sick too. I love the emo stuff, dude. I like fucking came up on like Nothing Nowhere, and as you all know, like Oliver Francis and stuff. He doesn't like totally use guitars, but I'm actually like into everything right now. Like that's why you guys have seen like a lot of that rage stuff. Like, I don't know. It's just it hits different. The stuff that I really like to make is stuff like I don't know if you guys will know these beats if I just say the name, but like Speedrun, like a lot of the newer like Oliver Francis stuff where it's like kind of wavy, but then it kind of uses those weird synths. Like that's the stuff I personally really like making. Which I don't know, just because I've never heard anything like it before. But, okay.
Ich hab das Lachen längst verlernt, es ist nur Cover wie dein Make-up. Manchmal verschwommen wie die Tränen nach dem Breakup. Ich will seit Wochen nur noch schlafen, aber ich bin nimmst du hellwach.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go in right here and just clean this up.
Ich hab das Lachen längst verlernt, es ist nur Cover wie dein Make-up. Manchmal.
Yes, it does.
Nur Cover wie dein Make-up. Manchmal verschwommen wie die Tränen nach dem Break.
Is there something else playing here? Or is that like a drum? No.
Nur Cover wie dein Make-up. Manchmal verschwommen. Nur Cover wie dein Make-up. Manchmal verschwommen. Nur Cover wie dein Make-up. Manchmal verschwommen wie die Tränen.
What's going on here?
Nur Cover wie dein Make-up. Manchmal verschwommen wie. Nur Cover wie dein Make-up. Manchmal verschwommen wie.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's.
Nur Cover wie dein Make-up. Manchmal verschwommen wie die Tränen nach dem Breakup. Ich will seit Wochen nur noch schlafen, aber ich bin nimmst du hellwach.
Yeah, cool.
Ich pull up, ich shoot, ich bin mit der Crew, sie wird aus uns nicht was. Mein Head ist so messed up, ja, vor allem von Love Scar. Messed up, ja, vor allem von Love Scars, ja. Bruder, ich hab Boss, ja, und ihr schmeißt Bars, ey. Das kann doch nicht sein, sie ist doch mal mein. Ich hab Boss, ja, und ihr schmeißt Bars, ey. Das kann doch nicht sein, sie ist doch mal mein und ich bin allein, ey, ja. Was soll schon sein, sie ist auf Time, manchmal zieht sie Lines, ey. Sie ist auf Time, manchmal zieht sie Lines, ey, ja. Sein, sie ist auf Time, manchmal zieht sie Lines, ey, ja. Sein, sie ist auf Time, manchmal zieht sie Lines, ey, ja. Ich schreibe Lines, bitte sie blind, release in a fire, ja.
Okay, cool, done, okay. Yeah, I was never heavy into making emo rap, but I never checked out 93 Feet of Smoke, and I always meant to. I've gotten entire emo beats before. Yeah, honestly, they hit different. I don't know. I'm weird, man. Like I have like these super annoying like preconceptions to like when I'm like making music and stuff like that. Like I always like want to make something that like I've never made before. So like the longest time, like especially when I started making beats, like I've been playing guitars for like I've been playing guitar for like 14 years. And so what ended up happening like when I started was I got told to like make guitar beats a lot, and for some reason I was just like, oh, I don't want to. I've been playing guitar this like whole time. Like I just like don't want to. Like I just want to make. I just want to make like synth music, and then like I just fuck off. Like God, I get so in my head about like what to make and like when to make it and shit. Like it's actually so cringe. Okay, Okay, so these.
Yeah, hey. Girl, you colder than you used to be.
Oh, following that? No, okay, that's it.
Sometimes I just had enough of you. Hey.
Okay, so this can actually basically be the same as the intro. Because they're performed the same, and the way that I'm also approaching this track, they're going to end up basically being the same thing. So, same nonsense. We're actually going to take the hook vocals, drag them onto all this intro. And now we're going to basically route these more to the delays than we are to the main bus, because I want this to sound super trippy and not at all like just the main vocals clear up front. I don't really want that. So
Yeah, girl, you colder than you used to be. Yeah, girl, you colder than you used to be.
wish I could just like file save like this whole chain just like drop it in a patcher. Ugh. Okay.
Yeah, girl, you colder than you used to be. I called you before falling in a dark place.
I don't really want that either. Like what I kind of want is to do this to it. Unit. So what I do here in Echo Boy, this was like super sick. If you throw the mix at maximum and then you put it on time, put it at 0 milliseconds, you're basically just running like whatever you're doing into the like pre-unit of the Echo Boy. So you can change like the style and make it sound different. I personally like this telephone one. So that sounds like this. Fire.
I called you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, Yeah, girl, you colder than you used to be. Yeah, girl, you colder than you used to be.
That k is harsh. Sounds like it's clicking.
Yeah, girl, you colder than you used to be. Yeah, girl, you colder than
This.
Yeah, girl, you colder than you.
Is it this? This is so jarring.
Yeah, girl, you colder than you used to be. Yeah, girl, you colder than you used to be.
Is that it's that, eh? Yeah, it is that. Okay.
Yeah, girl, you colder than you. Yeah, girl, you colder than you used to be. Yeah, girl, you colder than you used to be. Yeah, girl, you colder than you used to be. Yeah, girl, you colder than you. Colder than you. Colder than you. Colder than you. You colder than you. You colder than you. Colder than you. You colder than you. You colder than you. You colder than you. You colder than you used to be.
Okay. Good enough. Don't get fixated on small things like me. Annoying.
I called you before falling in a dark place. I smoked, just had enough of you. I called you before falling.
Okay, so these are not where they're supposed to be.
Just had enough of you. I caught you I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scar. Right around the corner is all I can see. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. Ich hab das Lachen längst verlernt, es ist nur Cover wie dein Make-up. Manchmal verschwommen wie die Tränen nach dem Breakup. Ich will seit Wochen nur noch schlafen.
I do, yeah. I'll show you how to do that. It's so simple.
Ich pull up, ich shoot, ich bin mit der Crew, sie wird aus uns nicht was. Mein Head ist so messed up, ja, vor allem von Love Scars, ja. Bruder, ich hab, ja. Und sie ist kälter als gewohnt zu mir. Und ich
like, I want to get like overly lazy with it, but this processing is basically going to be the same as this processing, so. Jack, do you have like plugins like this shit, or like do you just use stock plugins and stuff too? That was I don't know if you're here for it, but it was something I was like asking at the very beginning of this whole thing, because I was just like, yo, like, should I be doing this with like fab filter shit, or should I like actually like be pulling out like the fucking just like the stock stuff to make it like more accessible for guys, right? Like to, you know, like, I don't know. I hope you know what I mean. I got all the Sound Toys ones and some other ones. Okay, true. Sound Toys ones are the ones to have, man. Like honestly, like above everything, like.
Und sie ist kälter als gewohnt zu mir.
So that's got the turn like way the hell down.
Und sie ist kälter als gewohnt zu mir.
Actually, I'm gonna try it and put this up in here.
Und sie ist kälter als gewohnt zu mir. Und ich war's damals nie zu dir.
I actually kind of like that. I'm gonna leave that. But for here.
3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau, wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart, I feel right in the dark. It seems like I'm stuck with you.
It's just a saturation. That's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting actually. I actually always kind of liked the like that gain knob, but I never actually like truly like played around with it. Okay, so what I personally like to pan the ad-libs. I've just kind of always done it. I feel like it brings more movement, and like you don't necessarily want ad-libs like up in the middle. So I'm just like creating like little automation clips to make it so that the ad-libs kind of like pan left and right.
3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau, wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart, I feel right in the dark. It seems like I'm stuck with you. And now I can't get enough of you. Sometimes I just had enough of you. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau, wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart, I feel right in the dark. It seems like I'm stuck with you. And now I can't get enough of you. Sometimes I just had enough of you. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, Girl, colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. Ich hab das Lachen längst verlernt, es ist nur kein Feier, ja. Und sie ist kälter als gewohnt zu mir. Ich war's damals nie zu dir. Und heute will ich weg.
Is this panned?
Feier, ja. Und sie ist kälter als gewohnt zu mir.
Oh.
Ich war's damals nie zu.
I don't know why I did that.
Feier, ja. Und sie ist kälter als gewohnt zu mir. Ich war's damals nie zu dir. Und heute will ich weg von dir. Damals wollte ich weg.
Yo, someone's gonna see this and be like, yo, this guy's a yo, like, why the fuck are you fucking, like, just copying everything? Oh, I get paid to do this, man.
Feier, ja. Und sie ist kälter als gewohnt zu mir. Und ich war damals nie zu dir. Und heute will ich weg von dir. Damals wollte ich weg mit dir.
I want this, like, caked.
Damals wollte ich. Und sie ist kälter als gewohnt zu mir. Ich war's damals nie zu dir. Und heute will ich weg von dir.
Oh shit.
Damals wollte ich weg mit dir. Damals wollte ich weg mit dir.
What was this?
Ja, ja. Und sie ist kälter als gewohnt zu mir. Ich war's damals nie zu dir. Und heute will ich weg von dir. Damals wollte ich weg mit dir. Und damals wollte ich weg mit dir.
Oh, okay, so let's chop this to, like,
Und damals wollte ich weg mit dir.
fire. Okay, tight.
Und damals wollte ich weg mit dir.
Fire. Okay. Oh shit, I forgot to make. Okay. Here's another little thing. Okay. So, to me, I've basically just finished mixing this song. How long did that take me to explain it all? An hour and a half. Not too bad. Okay, so here we're gonna actually I'm going to get into mastering real quick for you. I might as well. So if I have my master track at 100%, let's see where I'm peaking at the loudest part of my song, which is gonna be the chorus.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end.
Okay, so it is peaking, and that's honestly, welcome to 2022, motherfucker. We don't care about that shit. So if I have a little thing in here in FabFilter Pro C that's called basic bus, and so to set a bus compressor, and why I do this is because if you have like a compressor, like sometimes compressors can be used as like glue, if you will. So like it can make it sound like, even though it's two separate sounds being played at the same time, like it sounds like one sound being played at the same time. Which is why you'll see like some drum sound designers do shit like they'll take a high kick, a low kick, and then add like a hi-hat, and then like compress the three together to make it sound like one thing. Like this is where this kind of thing comes into play. So so is that like parallel compression? Parallel compression is when you compress something like however much you want. Like let's just say, just like,
I caught you before falling in
like super compress this. Parallel compression, whereas instead of your mix being at 100% with compression, you're basically only you're like seriously compressing something, and then you're putting it at like mix at like 50% or like dialing it in. So like our fully compressed sound was like this.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying.
So that's parallel compression, where you're like basically like it's not fully compressed, it's like halfway compressed or something. But what I'm talking about is you're just adding like a little bit of glue to all of your tracks, like all together. So you set the threshold like pretty low, like you kind of aim for tracks, like me personally when I'm mixing, like I aim for tracks to be at like to come in here at like -6. So like this is something that I'll do is like
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again.
Yeah, like so this is where this kind of comes into play too, like especially like when you do track stems, like what I did with the vocals where I have everything being bussed to one particular vocal track. Like this is what I do with beat stems as well. Like you'll have the whole beat like just on one thing, and then you can actually go and just like pull them down. And then so now before I'll get more into that, but
I caught you before falling in.
So now our volume is sitting at around like -6, like -3. So when I do put on this compressor, like I'm adding really light ratio, like it's barely there kind of deal. And then I'm going to be compressing it like only a few dB with a bit of a slower attack and like a bit of a faster release. Again, like big, like play around with it kind of thing. And then I'm going to just adjust a few knobs, like just make sure like it's kind of, it all sounds like it's one song, you know what I mean? Rather as opposed to like what we have here, which is basically like a 2-track beat and then like vocals. Like I want everything to sound like it's one particular thing. So
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe.
I don't know if anybody like YouTube probably like makes the quality like way less intricate than like what I hear. But
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again.
Like it just kind of, it's such a subtle thing. Okay, so there's two parts to this. So now we kind of get into mastering. That right there would have been a full mix, and it was my L. I actually should have started mixing with this thing like right out of the gate. Like I should have gone in, threw up my basic bus preset, and then started mixing with that thing already in mind, because you actually end up compressing less because it's already going into a compressor. So here we'll get into mastering. So this guy right here, the first thing I'll do, and what I actually should be doing here, and what I will actually do here, is I'm going to throw on a limiter, because artists don't know. If you're mixing a song for an artist and you send them something that isn't as loud as possible, one of the first mix notes they're going to tell you is make it louder. That's not really what mixing is. Mixing is, and when I say louder, I mean like physically like louder, like they have to turn their volume up, like not necessarily like perceived loudness and all that stuff, which is the issue at hand actually. But what you're doing here is, what I do here is I go and I put a limiter on the beat, on the song, excuse me, and I get it to be loud, so it's like a faux master. So then when they hear the track, they're not sitting there going like, oh, like it sounds really quiet, like I'm hoping they can turn it up in the mix. It's like, A, that's a mastering problem, and B, you're kind of getting them to look past that initial problem, and now you're just getting them to focus on like the actual things. It's like, do you like the reverbs I use? Like, do you like the way that I lined up your vocals? Like, do you like the way this sounds? Do you like how I panned the ad libs? Do you like this effect? Like things that are like actually important to the song rather than like actually just like something that's like technical on the like engineering side. So I throw on a limiter. I just make sure it doesn't sound like complete garbage.
I called you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying.
Fire. And so now I'm actually, this is going to be what we quote unquote deliver to our artists. So I'm going to hit MP3 file. This is my naming convention. I go love scars, mix, draft 1. And then I render it as an MP3. People don't hear the difference in like WAV files. And like some people can like beg to differ and like great if you get a client like that or anything, like send them, client says jump, you say how high kind of deal. But in this particular instance, it's like it's just send MP3s. That's what people hear at the end of the day anyway. So it's just like don't worry about it. Save everybody the disk space. This is 6.9 megabytes. I'm not trying to render a 58 megabyte file for you to listen to it, for me to render up another one. Like, nah, like the whole process I can probably do in 6.9 megabytes. But show you how to master, I'm actually going to do this and then pull out and then like I'm going to finish rendering this. I'm going to take some stuff off of the mixer and then I'm going to master the track to show you what that sounds like. And then I have to make rage loops for a pack tomorrow. So I will still be here doing that nonsense. Oh, let's take a look. Let's take a look. What is this? What's going on my actual YouTube? Playbacks 20, average watch 430. That's good. As long as you guys like what I do, I honestly don't really give a shit, to be honest. That's all I care about. Like people liking the beats and stuff like that. Like I'm just like, yo, as long as people like the music. Seriously. Here we go, finally. Okay, so now we gotta do this one more time. This time I'm gonna take off the limiter and I'm going to export that as a WAV file. And then, so this is my naming convention. I go love scars. I say RFM as in ready for master, but this technically won't be a ready for master. So I'm going to go tut RFM. I'm going to hit WAV and then I am going to render that guy with just the limiter taken off. And by doing that, it's going to put the song back at like -6 dB. And it's easier as a mastering engineer kind of like make some subtle changes without like clipping the actual track itself. But yo, for this one, should I use stock shit? I'll use stock shit for you. That'll be a little challenge. That'll be cool. Some shit I've never used before. Okay, I will. Makes life easy. Oh, yo, honestly, like the reason I got Fruity Loops was because it looked so clean and fun. And all the stock stuff looked like it just worked, kind of deal. I love the fat filter shit. I love the fat filter shit. It's honestly life changing. I will recommend it to everybody until the day I die. Okay, so new, we're gonna open up a completely empty track. And so let's grab this guy. So I'm gonna grab tutorial RFM. So this is the track as we finished it. Oh, hello me. Okay. So again, big thing with mastering is you want to basically be looping the main section of like the loudest section of the track. So in this case, it's going to be our chorus. Like even just looking at the waveform, This is probably like the loudest section, maybe other than like here, which is hello. It's a chorus. Fuck. Okay, so let's loop this guy.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight.
Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hit it with an EQ. Oh, it's so interesting. I'm going to use a 7-band EQ like this. I'm going to. Okay, cool. And yeah, so by using these 7 bands, I can kind of make really small adjustments and change actually like how the whole track sounds as a whole. And so the first thing about mastering is that it was originated by basically like the final track. It's like at the end of the day, it's like, yo, like lads, like let's just like take it at 3K and like make a little boost. And so let me just pull these down to 20K as low as I can. And the human ear can't hear past 23 hertz, but FL can 1000.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much.
If I take at 3K,
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing.
Like that right there is like essentially mastering.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my.
Do you hear how much of a difference, like even just, not even running? Yeah, it is on my master. Yeah, okay. Like even just that makes like a huge difference. So like that is what mastering is. Now I'm going to go through with like the rest of these and like make tiny, subtle, small changes. That was like 1.9 dB. Like we don't want that. Like, we want like 1.5 like max.
I caught you before falling in a dark place.
I
smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than if you see. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you are near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end.
Here's where we get into the fun shit. So now you want to hit it with a multi-band compressor. And I like the FabFilter one because you can add like 3,000 bands to it. So this is like one of my first times like actually using it. So what you want to do in general is you want to like super compress the highs, you want to super compress the lows, and then you want to keep the middle like pretty average. So to do this, I'm just going to kind of bear with me. I'm going to figure out how to use this plugin for the first time.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than if you see. Right around the corner.
Oh, okay. to hear the one thing though. Okay, well.
I caught you before.
Oh, that's how that works. Oh.
Straight, and now I'm writing again. She's crying again. I'll just hope for the end. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again. She's crying again. I'll just hope for the end. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again. She's crying again. I'll just hope for the end. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again. She's crying again. I'll just hope for the end. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you now I'm writing again. She's crying again. I'll just hope for the end. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again. She's crying again. I'll just hope for the end. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. You are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time so much I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again. She's crying again. I'll just hope for the end. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before.
Okay. I'm happy with that. I like that. So now we're gonna hit it with another compressor. And so what this does is just like cleans up everything as a whole. Like you're adding a lot of compression and mastering, like a fucking ton. So again, let's just, yeah.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, eh?
Now what do I do? Okay, so now the next thing that I do, if I remember correctly, is I again hit it with some sort of a distortion. Do I have one here? Why do I not have basic mastering plane?
I caught you before. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, eh?
I literally have presets for all this stuff and I just like rifle through it. I'm pretty sure the next thing that I do is I add an imager of some sort. So something that's kind of, oh yeah, okay, so yeah, so what you can use is something like Fruity Stereo Shaper. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get just a little bit of a wider sound to it. So there's like effects that you can use, I believe, in, oh no, not what I want to do, in Fruity Stereo Shaper that kind of allow you to, yeah, like kind of make it sound like just a little bit wider. Like,
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than you used to.
Okay, never mind, I lied. I'm not going to use all stock plugins. That would be fucking crazy. So this is also a free plugin. It's called Ozone Imager. I haven't played around with a lot of this stuff. I'll just out myself right now.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now
what the hell? Kind of weird that I can't change it. Oh. There we go.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot.
This is the worst stream in the history of streams. Okay, so after I've hit it with an imager like this, I'm now actually going to hit it with soft clipper. Yeah, I'm actually gonna hit it with soft clipper. So, and what I'm doing here is I'm actually giving it volume by kind of soft clipping the master and then afterwards hitting it with a limiter. We're actually going to end up getting like a louder product. This is what I do. This is the order of which I do these things. Bro, this made me realize I didn't download images since I moved to a new computer. Yo, it's a fucking clutch plugin, homie. It's so good.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I'll just hope for the end, eh?
Okay, so nothing crazy. Now we're gonna hit it with the limiter, and then like, so the limiter is like, this is it, like the final step of the process. And then the other plugin that you absolutely like, it's crucial, like everybody should download, is this one. called Julian Loudness Meter, and this guy is also like completely free. But this is how you're gonna check like your integrated loudness, which is also your LUFS, which is your perceived loudness. Integrated LUFS is like what you really care about. Like you want your integrated LUFS to be like as low as possible. Like you want them to be as close to 0 as possible. So
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get.
now it's good to have this guy open while you're playing with your limiter, because the end product of this is kind of dependent on your limiter and like what you actually want, the loudness that you want to achieve, shit like that. Jesus, that probably made no sense. Okay. So the first thing that you want to make sure is that like when you're setting your limiter is you want your limiter to have a ceiling of -1, not 0 decibels, because what ends up happening is when you end up playing it in systems, for example, like your car, and you crank, like you literally turn up the volume of a track that is at a ceiling of 0 decibels, it will clip because of like there's no headroom for the amp of like the average speaker to like interpret like that level of volume. And like Jesus Christ, that is probably not even the reason, but that is the experience that I have, is that if you don't set this ceiling to -1, it's gonna do weird shit when it's like when the song is like at its loudest. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna actually like play around with like the attack, release, and sustain, just to make sure that like everything like sounds punchy kind of thing. Most people don't use Fruity Limiter, but we're doing the all stock plugin shit. So
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for.
yo, okay, so I turn the attack time slower, like up like this, because if the difference for me is like you can hear the drums punch through more.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, eh? Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around.
And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna listen to the whole song. So, and what we're doing is we're listening to the whole song to make sure that this loudness stays below -14. Again, you want to get it to as low as possible, but one thing that you got to learn about mastering is that each streaming service like has like a different like threshold that they want their integrated loudness to be. So like for example, like I'm probably wrong now, but I remember when I believe Spotify's is -14 LUFS. So if your track is let's say when we get to the end of the track and it ends up coming out to -10.5 or -15 LUFS, it means that Spotify's algorithm is actually going to turn your track up, and you like don't want that. Like you want the track to have to be turned down by the algorithm because it sounds better that way versus having Spotify's limiter hit your stuff and then turn it up. It doesn't sound as good. And like it actually, like when you're going through Spotify, like you don't want your song to like not sound as loud as like everybody. Like you want it to kind of fit in, and like you want people to like take you seriously that way. Anyway.
You before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, eh. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. 3 Uhr nachts und ich denk wieder an dich. 4 weitere, ich glaub, sie helfen nicht. Baby, wenn du willst, schau wie mein Herz zerbricht. Deine Blicke und deine Augen, sie töten mich. And we are falling apart, I feel right in the dark. It seems like I'm stuck with you. And now I can't get enough of you. Sometimes I just had enough of you. I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, eh. Girl, you are colder than you used to be. Right around the corner is all I can see. I see scars in the rain if I believe. Every time you're near me, girl, I can breathe. Ich hab das Lachen längst verlernt, es ist nur Cover wie dein Make-up. Manchmal verschwommen wie die Tränen nach dem Breakup. Ich will seit Wochen nur noch schlafen, aber ich bin im Stu hellwach. Ich pull up, ich shoot, ich bin mit der Crew, sie wird aus, ist nicht was. Mein Head ist so messed up, ja, vor allem von Love Scars, ja. Bruder, ich hab Bars, ja, und ihr schmeißt Bars, ey. Das kann doch nicht sein, sie ist on my mind und ich bin allein, ey, ja. Was soll schon sein, sie ist auf Time, manchmal zieht sie Lines, ey, ja. Ich schreibe Lines, bitte sie blind, release in a fire, ja. Und sie ist kälter als gewohnt zu mir. Ich war's damals nie zu dir. Und heute will ich weg von dir. Damals wollte ich weg mit dir. Und damals wollte ich weg mit dir.
Okay, so negative 11.8. So it's like not necessarily ideal, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm probably gonna do my own plugins like later.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, eh.
Yeah, and that's kind of how you do it. So I'm not gonna render this though, just because. But here, let's show you the. I'll show you guys like the. Like A and B. Okay, so here is it without effects.
I caught you before falling in a dark place. I smoke too much, I cannot get my mind straight. And now I'm writing again, she's crying again. I just hope for the end, eh.
Yeah, so it makes a little bit of difference, for sure. Okay, now I low-key have to make fucking loops. I'm gonna lie, lads. So I'm in a bit of a I've got some loops coming out next week, and I don't have time tomorrow to make more, so I have to finish the rest of this pack right now and see how many I have. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Gotta make 2 more. Okay. Let's do this. God, come on now. Hmm. Oh, I like that. Go for this. What is? I hate that it does this. There we go. See? my god, it's crazy. Okay. god, I hate. Well, please, jeebs. One down, one to go. It's amazing. Yo, thanks. Yo, Hyperion, bro, like, who are you, man? Like, we need to connect more, man. Like, you've done nothing but support me. Like, what can I fucking do for you, man? Like, seriously, like, every single comment, like, I appreciate that, like, so much, man. Like, I don't know, like, typically I got, like, artists I'm working with and shit, but, like, I don't know, I feel like you're, like, actually rocking with me. Like, fuck, bro, like, damn, I appreciate that, like, mad. Like, you actually have no idea. Here, what are we gonna fucking make this? What are we gonna call this, homie? Do like, I've done that. What's the tempo? It. Alright. Pause. Where? No. I don't know. I like your music, bro. I appreciate that a ton, man. Seriously, yo, like, let's work or something. Like, I've got. If you like this loop, like, I got loops for you. You know what I mean? Like, be cool to get some stuff going together. Um. Okay, there's one down. I just need to do the WAV file. I have to go in after and. Okay, so save. Fire. Like, I'm feeling that up tempo shit though. Yeah. And I feel late. Jesus. On here. Jesus. Oh. I used that already. Use that one too. I know he's used a loop like that though, so I like, don't want to make everything. Confused. Oh. Oh, that's loops. Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, everything was. Oh, okay, right. I forgot I can do. So close. So close. shit. That's crazy. That's actually so sick. Holy. Oh, sound is on some shit, but I'm like, I will, man. Send I will. Loops, dude. I'll put you on my weeklies too. Like, I'll get you all the shit that I've been putting out. Okay, like yes, but no, but yes. kind of like that. With a loop. Fucking head. Jesus fuck. Okay. Actually, like I'm never. Tom Rogie gave me shit. Put a belt. And I'll always just laugh about it. Just one time I didn't. I don't like it anywhere, to be honest. Yeah, the bell, dude. You gotta have it. Don't for me thinking this is bad to like this kind of hard. That's so nuts. It's actually fucking great. Done. Fuck, man. Thanks, dude. Okay, I gotta get off here. Rig. 7:39. I want to play one round of Apex. Working all day. Now I'm doing this. Did the tutorial. Made a couple loops. Had a productive day, honestly. Good. Oh, you gotta turn all this shit off. Okay. Alright, lit. Okay. Oh, okay. All in all, pretty good day. Pretty good day. Alright, guys. Getting off now. Good run. If anyone has any questions about like mixing vocals or anything, or has any okay. Have a good night, guys. I appreciate everyone. Kind of 3 hours long. I was talkative as I probably should have been, but it's all good. So, all right. See you guys later.